My name is Nitesh Sinarayan. I'm an associate researcher at Mount Sinai's Icahn School of Medicine. I graduated in 2018 from the Tandon School of Engineering with a bachelor's in chemical and biomolecular engineering. At work, it's a large balance of lots of meetings because we work on a large-scale research project with various institutions, including the University of Vermont, Stanford University, and I believe 11 other hospitals. So it's lots of communication in terms of lab work, presenting over results, and letting everyone know what we got. I specialize in the Department of Neurology, which is the field that I was most interested in going into. But the reason why I like working at this position so much is in it being such a large-scale research project. Within Mount Sinai, it's working between two departments, both the pharmacology and the neurology department. So I enjoy the lots of running around from the 14th to the 19th floor and then back down again for different meetings and then talking and interacting with lots of different people. While I was a student, I remember a large misconception that they had within Tandon was, oh, I'm a STEM major, I'm doing science, I don't need to do like reading and writing and critical analysis and everything, but those are soft skills that are very important regardless of what you do. Whether someone presents a paper or a memo on your desk or different information that you need to do for either an experiment or a project meeting or something, you need to be able to properly analyze that as well as convey over everything that you're explaining in a very precise and understandable manner. One very important thing is, as I said, the critical analysis. From a classroom point of view, lots of STEM majors don't think it's very applicable for it, because it's like, I don't really need to care about what the author is trying to say or convey over here. If I'm reading like a science paper, a publication or something, it's going to be all laid out in front of me and very straightforward. But being able to go in depth and analyze it like that is very important. Say if you get data results or there's a paper from the workup and something doesn't work out right, you need to analyze it, retrack your steps and see why it didn't work right, understand it so that you can improve it, and then what did we learn from this? Because that's what research is. I currently started working at my position at Mount Sinai in November of 2018, but I had my first interview with their HR department in May of the same year. I was very different than all the bio majors that were applying over for all these positions. It's very important to not just say, I have this specific rigid experience, but much more fluid and dynamic so that you're able to implement it to various different aspects. You essentially need to convey that message clearly over to the hiring manager, because it doesn't matter what you think. If they don't get that impression from you, then they're not going to hire you. It was my first ever phone interview. I was so nervous. Both showing over your soft skills and how you can apply for this job and knowing that you'd be a good fit is important, but you also need to understand that you need to show that you are a human being as well in terms of your personality, how you interact and everything. At the moment, we're mostly writing lots of different protocols to set up to inform all the other institutions of the practices that we're doing, as well as to homogenize with Stanford, who's running the same experiments on our end on the other side of the country. And then once all the data is found over together, we need to write down a long publication paper that will get released by the NIH, I believe. Communication, now in particular, is becoming a very big, important thing. I'm currently being trained for a second research project in a biosafety level 2+ lab where we're working with HIV. If you screw up and then accidentally make a mess and then don't really tell anyone, or you're not confident about it and you don't want to speak out or ask for help or something like that, that could get you or someone very sick. Communication is very important in creating that very a very trusting work environment where it's you need to trust that the person that worked on that lab bench right before you or something. The hardest part, for me at least, is unfortunately in it being such a big research group, you have so many different facets of different types of specializations. You have bioanalysts, you have computer scientists to set up the different data management systems. You have administrative assistants, the lab workers, the people doing clinical trials to get over the samples. And not everyone comes over with the same background of being able to understand the vernacular that's used in one specific work setting. So you really need to take your time to try to explain things the best you can so that everyone's on the same page without coming off like a total know-it-all or something. Before going into Tandon, I was always told by both my high school setting and my family that I was very bad with communication and writing. In my first semester of XPOS, that was a very big shake awakening for me in terms of shaking my low confidence and just gaining the experience of writing and everything that I needed to do to express what I need to do properly. Lorraine Duran being an excellent teacher, but then also not really the kind of person to baby you, which is what I needed at that time, and just really kind of like smack you around a little bit. And it was a key pivotal point for me to be able to progress and learn and capitalize on all of that in XPOS too. As my undergraduate went on working with different group projects and everything like that, you gain lots of experience. The group projects within my junior and senior year were very helpful in terms of preparing myself for the workforce, because when working with different classmates and group members on various projects, everyone has their own different ways of doing things and different work methods. It's communicating and being able to work dynamically with one another to reach the end result. The writing and communication skills that I learned within Tandon, I use every day, both within my work setting as well as just everyday life, like talking to people and conveying over what you think and how you feel properly and in an understandable way. Your mental health is important. It's important that you explore over and do certain things, but don't put too much pressure on yourself. Have fun. I was very interested in music and art, and I took painting and music classes. It's a lot of just well-rounding and taking care of yourself and extending over on what you want to do and everything. That's the main advice that I have, is just taking care of yourself.